What up, YouTube world? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm back today with the review for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 5, Episode number 13. We are winding down on this season, so we got Love and Hip Hop New York coming up next, which I'm not too much excited about because I don't like New York like that, but I am kind of excited for Miami to come back. But this is episode, I think I said episode 13, and this episode was titled KTSE, in the words of Tiana Taylor, keep that same energy. So without further ado, we are going to get this video started. And I want to say I was going to put this video up, right after the show aired. But when I got home tonight from work in Dallas, Texas, I think there was a fire somewhere with the AT&T place and all that kind of stuff. So our cable has been down. I think the cable has been down all day. But for me, it's only been down for a few hours. So it is like almost 11:30 at night that I'm recording this. So it's going to be up early tomorrow morning when I get to work. So without further ado, let's get this shit started. All right, so this episode, it started out with Marcus and Clutch and Pearls meeting up with each other. And, Clutch and Pearls talking about how he's in a good spot right now since that whole poker incident with Ray and all that kind of stuff. And then, Marcus is telling Clutch and Pearls about the whole Rockstar thing. How, Rockstar was talking about how he was with Little Lyrica and all this kind of stuff. And, Marcus is basically like how he walked out of the situation. And Clutch and Pearls is like, you know what? Just like you walked out of that situation, that's how I'm doing with all these people that people are, are quote linked to Little Lyrica. And I want to say now that after this episode, I'm not going to, when it comes to this whole Little Lyrica, Clutch and Pearls, Safari, all that bullshit, even with the reunion, I'm not talking about it. Just like Tammy Roman and her daughter said in their review last week, I'm not going to talk about it. And the reason why I'm not going to talk about it is because Little Lyrica and Clutch and Pearls went on Wendy Williams last week, said that he took a DNA test because, they went on Wendy Williams' show and they went on The Breakfast Club. And it was revealed that they both have cheated on each other. And that the baby is his, and it's the boy. So, shit, I just revealed that. Now I have to, shit. Well, that kind of sport, hell, that didn't even sport the gender reveal because we saw this all play out last week on TV but whatever, moving forward. So, Marcus is questioning, like, damn, bro, like, you got these dudes going around town saying that they smashed your girl, not your girl, but your wife, and you just gonna let it go and all that kind of stuff. And I'm actually with Marcus. Like, if all these niggas saying that they slept with your wife, which again, like I said, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but if they quote slept with your wife, I would be a little bit more mad than what Clutch and Pearls is. So then they talk about how they having a gender reveal party and all that kind of stuff. And, Clutch and Pearls is like he don't want Marcus to bring Brooke because Brooke has been messy. Brooke has been the one that's been kind of fanning the flames and all that kind of stuff, which I definitely get that. Brooke has been messy as fuck. And, then Mama Dab shows up and I'm like, oh my God, like what the fuck is up with that wig? Like that wig didn't have nobody's part in it. And I'm like, my nigga, I'm like, oh my God, can somebody please get her a better looking wig? Like what the fuck? It just has no part, no life, no buoyancy, no nothing to it. So when Mama Dap comes in, that's when Marcus takes his exit and like deuces, I'm at this bitch. So then Mama Dap, she upset with Clutch and Pearls because Big Lyrica showed her that the ultrasound and she's like, why come I wasn't invited and all that kind of stuff. And I think maybe Pam is because you act a motherfucking fool. That's why you weren't invited. So then she's talking about how she threw out there to and she's talking about she keep calling Big Lyrica a bitch and all that kind of stuff. And then she's talking about how she threw out there for Lyrica to take a DNA test. And he like, you believe in this Safari shit and all that kind of stuff. And then he basically asked her, can she get along with Big L for the gender reveal party, which she says is she trying to put it all on Big L. I'm like, that whole fight between you and Big L on the beach, one because of Big L, it was because of you and your stupidness talking about having a DNA test and all that kind of shit. So Big L was not to blame for that one. All right, and then we got the Mean Girls over there. So it's Nikki, it's Brooke. No. It's Nikki, LaBrittany, and Moniece, which I was so shocked as fuck to see Moniece and Nikki in the same scene with each other. Like, y'all having a spa date. You two, when Nikki was quote supposedly with Drew, they couldn't get along to save their lives. So Nikki wants to know what happened in London after she left, because she was talking about how Brooke was messy, which Brooke was messy and all that kind of shit. And then Monique and LaBrittany both brought up the whole thing of Tierra going off on all that kind of stuff about the Akbar and K. Michelle situation. So while Monique is sitting there talking about it, up walks Tierra, and Tierra gets in her feelings. She's like, I just told this bitch to stop talking about me behind my back. Which technically you walked in on the tail end of the conversation. So technically Monique wasn't really 100% talking about you. She was talking about what happened and why you went off on her. And I'm 100% on Monique's side. Like, I'm not gonna go and get at K. Michelle because of something that I don't know is true. Like, Tierra is stupid as fuck, if you want me to be honest with you. And like I said, Tierra shows up upset and all that kind of shit. And Monique did mention to Tierra the shit that Brooke said, about her going to Dallas before going to London with Akbar and all that kind of stuff. And again, Tierra is in her feelings, and I'm like, but if it's true, and then she admits that the shit is true, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, Tierra, what the fuck you getting mad for if you saying that this shit is true? You mad that Brooke actually went to Monique and said this shit? Like, what are you mad about, Tierra? Like, explain that to me. What the fuck are you mad about? Like, I don't get it. And also, when they were talking about Brooke before Tierra got there with Nikki, LaBrittany was telling Nikki to check the source, which, when it come down to that whole Solo Lucci thing, that she needs to check the source, and, Nikki's like, she gonna do that. All right, and then we get Tierra. She and Brooke are meeting up, and again, she's still out bucking her chest and going off on Brooke about the whole Akbar situation and all that kind of stuff. And Brooke basically didn't deny, that she said what she said to Monique about her and Akbar. And she was talking about how somebody was following her behind them, taking pictures of her. She had the videos and stuff, and pictures out on her phone and all that kind of stuff. And then Brooke basically tells Tierra that she feels like she still wants to be with Akbar, which is completely true. And Tierra says that Tierra just can't even listen to what Brooke is saying, because what Brooke is saying is the truth to her dumb ass. And then, she's like, well, I didn't tell Lyrica that you said she got 6 potential baby daddies and all that kind of stuff. And Brooke is like, I said that. Yep, I did. And I'm like, Brooke, really? Like, you sent her? Like, I am so interested to see this reunion, because I know they just filmed the reunion last week. Like, I'm so interested to see how this reunion plays out, because it's a lot of people on this cast that don't fucking fuck with each other right now. So then Tierra dumbass want to bring up, he's my abuser and all that kind of stuff. And it's like a cycle. When you go back, I'm like, Tierra, you sound stupid as fuck. Like, you really sound stupid. This nigga sat here and put out a whole ass sex tape about you. And you talking about he's my abuser and it's a cycle. I go back to him. No, bitch. If he put out a sex tape about you, what the fuck do you want to go back to him for? If he got a gaggle of hoes, what do you want him for? Like, he clearly have told you he is not leaving them bitches for you. Like, oh my God, like, she's stupid. And then, Brooke is asked about her and Tierra's relationship. Are they good? Or, and then she says, well, it's complicated? It's kind of complicated. And Tierra says, yeah, and all that kind of stuff. And basically, Tierra's like, what, Brooke? You don't talk about me behind my back, and I won't talk about you behind yours and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, Tierra, again, you sound stupid as fuck, like, really, truly. And then the last part of this episode was even dumber, and I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, because Tierra was sitting in the park. She had her phone in her hand, and it had Akbar's name on it. So I'm assuming at one point Tierra must have deleted Akbar's number out of her phone, because there was no text thread. So I'm assuming Tierra must have deleted his number out of her phone. So then she texts him talking about, I miss you and I want to talk to you. And then you get a text back from him. And he's talking about, okay, you name the time and the place. And I'm like, you big dumbass bitch. Like, what more do you need from this man to tell you? Like, what more do you need from him? Like, if Akbar didn't put out that sex tape, one of his hoes put out that sex tape about you. Like, I don't get Tierra. Like, none of this with Tierra makes sense. Like, I just really don't understand it. And then I'm also remembering back when she was talking to Monique them, that she, she was talking about how Akbar basically played her. Like, nah, bitch, he didn't play you. You went to Dallas thinking that he was gonna lead them girls for you, but when he said he wasn't leaving them because he wanted you to drop the case against him, and when he said that he wasn't leaving them, that's when you want to be quote done with him. Like, Tiara gets on my. This season, Tiara has worked my nerves more than she has ever worked my nerves in the previous seasons of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. All right, then we got Rockstar and Lucci. They are in the studio. Now that song that Lucci was doing with Rockstar, it sounded pretty decent. But my thing is, and I know they hadn't saw what we saw on TV, but Rockstar would be the last bitch that I would go into the studio with. Like, hell no, he a messy ass nigga. Like, I'm not gonna go in the studio with a dude that's as messy as Rockstar is. Like, the fact that you can sit there in front of A1, A1's quote friends. Well, with the exception of Marcus, because I think Marcus is a good friend to A1. But with Ray J and Solo Lucci, you gonna sit here and laugh in front of them talking about you slept with his wife? That would be strike number one for me to not work with you, because you sitting here talking about my homeboy and that you smashed his wife and all that kind of stuff. I'm be like, you know what, nigga? You can be the best producer in the world, but I ain't fucking with you because that's some clown ass shit that you did right there. Like, you gonna sit here in front of me and talk about my homeboy's wife? Like, nah, nigga, I'm not gonna work with you. But so they sit down, and Rock starts telling Solo Lucci how Clutch and Pearls FaceTimed him about the whole situation between him saying that he slept with Little Lyric and all that kind of stuff. And Rock starts talking about how he gonna deny it like a black man in court and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, that was not funny. You a corny ass motherfucker, and I just really do not like Rockstar. Like, can't stand that motherfucker. So then you got Nikki and La Brittany. They show up at the studio, and Nikki, Solo Lucci invited Nikki down to the studio. So she's going down there. She's upset. Basically, she want to pick a bone with Lucci and all that kind of stuff. So then, Nikki's like, well, I went to London, and we played this game called Never Have I Ever, and Brooke is gonna say Never Have I Ever Slept with Solo Lucci, and what did she say? Never have I ever slept with Solo Lucci, and Lucci, we never slept together and all that kind of stuff. And basically what it was is Nikki is saying that she never slept with Lucci, but Lucci's like, Nikki, you a damn lie. We slept with each other. Like, why are you trying to clown me and all that kind of shit? Who do I believe in this situation? I actually am more inclined to believe Lucci. I'm more inclined to believe Lucci over Nikki, because Nikki has done a lot of stuff for, I hate to say it, I don't even really care for Nikki all that much, but Nikki has used a lot of dudes on this show for storylines. Like, let's be honest, she had Uncle Fester season 1, she had Drew season whatever, was it season 2 that she had Drew? Then she was with Safari and Rosa Acosta, and then so yeah, when it comes to Nikki, like, I can see her smashing Solo Lucci. I can actually see it. If it's true, it's true. If it's not true, who gives a shit? So then, she's like basically telling Solo Lucci that his whole life is a lie and all that kind of stuff, and how he's in, the money he has, the stuff, all the stuff that he does, it's a lie. And then, basically Solo Lucci was disrespectful to her and called her out. He called her a bitch and all that kind of bitch and a hoe and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, damn, Lucci, like, you ain't got to call the girl out her name. I mean, you could have called her Plastic, Ms. Mattel, Barbie. Well, not Barbie, but you could have called her Ms. Mattel, Silicone Barbie, anything but out of her name like that. And then, basically Nikki, she got pissed off by that. And then she dropped some opened up her purse and dropped some stacks on the ground and all that kind of stuff. And again, like I said, basically, Lucci is saying that it happened, whereas Nikki is saying that it never happened. And then they Rockstar, once La Brittany and Nikki leave out, Rockstar and Lucci put 2 and 2 together. That basically the reason why Brooke knows this is because of Marcus, because Solo Lucci had the conversation with Marcus about it, and Marcus must have went back and told Brooke everything. And I'm like, we can call Brooke messy, but Marcus is just as messy as Brooke ass is too. He's just undercover with his messiness. All right, and then we had this scene where you got Lucci and Rockstar. They are in the barbershop supposedly getting their hair cut. When I was looking at Lucci's head, I'm like, what are they doing? Like, your hair is already done. Your hair is already cut, And then Rockstar, I'm like, nigga, they ain't doing shit to y'all here. Y'all just literally sitting in this barbershop just to film a scene. Like, really? So, Marcus shows up, and basically Lucci tells, Marcus about the gospel and all that kind of stuff, and how he basically questions him, with the whole Nikki stuff. But he understood where he come from with the whole, Clutch and Pearl situation. And then Rockstar want to interject his ass, and I'm like, Rockstar, you ain't even got a horse in this fight. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, because you sitting there talking about him going back and telling information to his business to Clutch and Pearls, and I was 100% on Marcus' side. Like, when we was all at the daddy daycare, daddy whatever the fuck they call that shit, Father Fun Day, whatever the fuck it was, Fantastic Friday, I don't know I forgot what they called it. But when they were having that, when Rockstar was sitting there talking about what he did to Lyric, or supposedly did to Lyric and all this kind of stuff, he made that public information. And Rockstar Marcus is Clutch and Pearl's friend, so he was only doing what a good friend is gonna do. You're not gonna sit here, and that's why I look at Lucci a little bit differently. Like, this your boy, but you gonna sit here with this clown ass motherfucker and let him sit here and talk about sleeping with your homie's wife, and you gonna sit here and just laugh with it? Like, Marcus was the only person in that situation last week that I 100% respect, because, like, what kind of friend is that to sit here, let this motherfucker laugh and joke about sleeping with his wife, and then go kiki with this nigga and be friends with him, and then not tell him, yo, bro, Rockstar, this old fuck nigga over here, say he slept with your wife. So that's why I really 100% respect Marcus. And Marcus and Rockstar get into it, and I'm like, Rockstar, again, shut up. Like, you ain't got no horse in this fight. Like, you said what you said, in the words of Nene Leakes. So deal with the repercussions that come from it. Like, deal with that shit. All right, then we got the two friendless girls. That is Princess and Little Lyrica. So, they're talking about labor, and they're talking about childbirth and how long Princess was in labor. I think she said 26 hours or maybe 28 hours. Wasn't really paying attention. And then, basically what it is Princess is telling Little Lyrica that she needs to stay away from negativity while she's pregnant, which we all know that. And then, Little Lyrica is telling her how she's having a gender reveal party. And at this gender reveal party, she does not want Ray there. She does not want Brooke there, because Brooke was messy and the shit that Ray did was messy. And Princess is like, you know what, I can respect that and all that kind of stuff, but I do want to apologize to you for what Ray did and all that kind of stuff. And when they were talking about Brooke, Little Lyrica was like, she don't know if Brooke loves Marcus or not, and she just doesn't know if Brooke wants other people to be happy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I can see that, because Brooke, this whole season, Brooke has done nothing but be messy toward her quote friends. First it was Little Lyrica, then it was her new budding friendship with Moniece, then it was Tiara. Like, Brooke has had a hand in everybody's shit this season. Now, with Tiara's situation, I can kind of understand that. Like, she ain't in love. Well, Tiara's a warped ass brain. She's probably in love with a rock star, but for her to do that to Little Lyrica, I'm like, I just don't understand why. Like, Brooke is fine as fuck, but for her to do all the shit that she's done this season, like, I don't know if she just needed a storyline or what, because I just really don't understand that shit. Like, it's baffling to me. All right, and then we got Fizz. He and AD are meeting up. And, my whole thing with Fizz is because he's talking about his situation with Tiffany and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, the only reason why Fizz got with Tiffany this season was just for a storyline. Like, let's be honest, because Fizz would have never had the time of day for Tiffany if it wasn't for the fact that Tiffany had an issue with Moniece. Like, I really feel like Fizz would have never dealt with Tiffany in the slightest bit. So, AD is talking about Moniece and how she's focusing on the wrong things right now, which I don't know what the wrong things are, but basically she's not focusing on their relationship and all that kind of stuff. And in order, because what Moniece wants is a ring from AD, and AD is like, if she's focusing on the wrong things and she's not focusing on our relationship, I can't see myself giving Moniece a ring, which I agree with that. And I think the main thing that I think she's talking about, it could be because Monique, because outside of Love and Hip Hop, we have saw a lot of stuff that Monique has gotten into. You know, her family drama with the Norwoods, on the show, this Tierra situation. So I mean, I guess that's kind of what it is. And then also her, her mental health and all that kind of stuff. But I can't really say that the mental health has anything to do with what AD is talking about. But I can kind of see the other shit, like the beef with the Norwoods and Tierra situation. You know, it's not making enough time for AD. So I definitely get that part. And, she also says that Monique is just dealing with a lot of stuff. And, Fizz is saying that when Monique was out there in London, that she blew up his phone and all that kind of stuff. And I understand why Monique blew up your phone. If you couldn't reach y'all son Cameron, then you are the next logical person to reach because he is in your care at that time. And once again, Monique is like she's in another country. So I'm pretty sure she was like anxious and all that kind of stuff because she's away from her kid and all that kind of stuff. And she's just, worried about him and all that kind of stuff. And then the fact that he's not answering his phone, it just made her freak the fuck out. So I understand Monique. So then Fizz want to tell AD how, he and Tiffany broke up and all that kind of stuff. And AD's not surprised by it. She's just surprised that it lasted as long as it did. Because basically, she says, in a nutshell, she called Tiffany selfish, which I could clearly see that. I think Tiffany was just doing this shit with Fizz. 1, to get at Monique. 2, to be on the show full time. Although Mona didn't give her nor Fizz a full time spot on the show this season. They weren't even part time cast members. They were part time cast members. And then while they are talking, AD suggests that Drew talks to Monique so that they can kind of work out this whole co-parenting thing with each other. All right, so then we get Drew and Monique. They are meeting up each other in the park. And, Monique is talking about the Cam thing and all that kind of stuff. How her not being able to reach him when, she was in London, it just, it made her a little bit more anxious and all that kind of stuff. And, Fizz is like, his phone was dead and all that kind of stuff. And she said, well, you should have had him charge his phone up. And, and she was like, I called you too, but you didn't answer the phone. He said, the one time you did call me, we did answer the phone. Now, if you did call us like at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm sleeping, all that kind of stuff. And, like I said, she said that her anxiety was what got the best of her. And then Drew tells her that he and Tiffany broke up. And she went to her little thing about Tiffany, which I agree with her. Tiffany was just an opportunistic bitch that was just trying to get out the strip club and all that kind of stuff and trying to put herself on. And, she was just using Fizz to get at, get where she wanted to be and to get at Monique. So I definitely see where Monique was coming from. And then, Monique talks about them co-parenting and all that kind of stuff and how, over the past few seasons with the girls that he's dated, she's had to deal with them bringing up her parenting and all that kind of stuff, calling her a deadbeat and all that kind of stuff. And it's basically because of Fizz. And Fizz, at first, it's like he was kind of not trying to take responsibility for what he did because he did do this. VH1 went back 3 years ago. But if you actually go back to season 1 of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, Fizz did nothing but talk about how Monique was a deadbeat mother. And everybody on Twitter called Monique a deadbeat mother on season 1 of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Because I remember that first scene where she was at Kim Kimball's getting her weave done. And everybody like, bitch, you at Kim Kimball's old high ass, but you ain't even got a place for you and your son to stay. But, the transition of Monique over the last 5 seasons, I have liked the change in Monique a whole lot. And, basically, Monique wants to go, whenever Fizz gets with a girl, she wants the girl to respect her because when Monique got with AD, Monique told her that, being cool with Fizz was a deal breaker. Like, if she wasn't cool with him, she couldn't, they could not be together and all that kind of stuff. So basically, Fizz does apologize to Monique for, putting it out there that she's a deadbeat mom and all that kind of stuff. And he just wants to move forward with Monique. All right, and then we got Apple. She's with Sean, and she's heading in to do her 30 days in jail and all that kind of stuff. And then, Sean is talking about how she got a team of lawyers who are trying to work around the clock to get her sentence reduced and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to reduce a sentence for a bitch who didn't come to court in the first place when she only had 3 fucking days. Like, I don't think they're going to do that shit. But A for effort if they do. And then, you know, Apple, her kids are with her friend Lily, and she's telling her kids that she's actually at work. I'm like, girl, that's a long ass work. Like, shit. Like, you working overtime at the strip club, but, you know, I get it. You don't want to tell your kids you're in jail. And then they talk about Apple's old ugly ass, deadbeat ass daddy. Like, and, you know, because Apple's like, you know, my daddy told me that he met up with you and all that kind of stuff. And I respected Sean in this scene because Sean said, you know, well, we're not even going to talk about that. We're going to move forward with that. But the fact that old ugly ass, burnt faced ass motherfucker said last week that he didn't believe that he was Apple's dad. I'm like, but why the fuck are you on this TV show portraying yourself as her daddy? And, you know, why are you meeting with her manager, trying to, you know, work with her manager and all that kind of stuff? Like, you a fuck nigga, for real, for real. All right, and then we got this gender reveal party. So, you know, like I said, Princess is there and Marcus is there without their significant others. You know, Princess is talking about how Ray was not too affected by not going, and Marcus said the same thing about Brooke. And I'm like, hell, if they don't feel affected, shit, they don't feel affected because, you know, the shit. Hell, you can't make people feel something that they don't feel. That's like telling a motherfucker to apologize to somebody when they don't mean it, when the apology is not sincere and all that kind of stuff. And I want to talk about what the fuck was that on Mama Dapp's head. That Bride of Frankenstein looking ass wig with, again, no fucking part. Can we please get this woman a better looking wig? Like the wig in her interview, that's a decent looking ass wig. But when she filming her scenes, them wigs are busted as the fuck. So, you know, we do the gender reveal. And surprise, surprise, it's a boy. I said that earlier in the video. Hell, we saw that last week on Wendy Williams' show. So, you know, that was the episode. Like the video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys later.